Hey guys, well, I know it's been a very long time since I've done a new video. Well, the reason why it's just been so long is because I've been through a lot like these past few months. I moved to a new state, so living in a new house. I hope you guys actually like the new background here. But since I'm now trying to make some time now, so I thought I'd do a new ranking video. So I don't really see this series in particular have gotten many rankings. I think I've only seen just one ranking video for this series, and I'm talking about the Cabin Fever series. So I'm gonna rank worst to best with the four Cabin Fever movies. All right, so coming in at number four, which is no surprise because you probably remember I did a rant video with a friend of mine years ago, actually when this movie came out. Me and him saw this through videos on demand, and both hated it. Hated it with a passion, actually. And so we did a rant video, which is actually one of my favorite videos I've done. And that's, of course, the Cabin Fever remake. So, and you're probably asking why I actually own this, despite I hated it. Well, I mean, I just own this because I'm just a collector. I just collect all the movies, part of a series, even the ones I don't like. Like another example of a movie I don't like but own is Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Next Generation. Kind of coincidentally, because I'm wearing a Texas Chainsaw Massacre shirt. so, so yeah, I just own all the movies part of a series, even the ones I hate. So yeah, this one I really hated. I mean, I can think of almost nothing good about it. I mean, the only thing I can think that'd be good is the cinematography, but that's very easy to accomplish. Like the acting was terrible. You can clearly tell the actors just didn't care. They were just in it for a paycheck. They gave very bland wooden performances, and also the gore effects was also terrible, which is something that's very let down with the Cabin Fever series. Because something that's always been good about these movies has been the gore. I mean, seeing this flesh-eating virus eating away at people's skin. I mean, that was just always a good thing. This one just did not even have that. I mean, just looked like they just poured fake blood on the actors, and that was really it. And also, what just made this all out terrible is that it was just a shot-for-shot remake of the original movie. There was little to nothing new about it. Like the only real new things was the last few minutes, like the ending, and also the dialogue. That's it. Everything else. Oh, also they turned Deputy Winston from the original movie into a female in this one, so it's a woman cop this time around. And they were just also just trying to take it into a serious direction, which just didn't work because the Cabin Fever series was supposed to be a horror dark comedy series. So that was one of the things about the original movie is that while it was a horror movie, but it also just didn't take itself serious. There was a lot of dark humor thrown in there. So so the original movie was just fun. This one was not fun at all. I don't recommend this one at all. It's one you can just skip. Okay, number three is Cabin Fever 2 Spring Fever. So I know this one does have a lot of hate, but I've never actually hated this one. I actually kind of always enjoyed this one. I do know the bad history behind the making of this movie, that the director Ty West, he made this movie, and then after he was finished making it, he was editing it, then showed a rough cut to Lionsgate, and Lionsgate didn't like his original cut, and so they wanted to re-edit the movie, but well, some time passed, nothing was happening, and so then Ty West went to make his movie House of the Devil, which is actually my favorite movie of his. And while he was making that movie, Lionsgate picked this movie back up and started re-editing it without his involvement. So they re-edited the movie from scratch. They took out, from what I've heard, at least 15 or 20 minutes of Ty West's original footage, and then the producers went back and reshot, I think, at least 10 or 15 minutes worth of reshoots, and put those reshoots into the movie. And Ty West was also not involved in the reshoots either, and so he felt this movie was pretty much just wasn't his anymore. So he's felt like it was just the producer's movie, and he wanted his name taken off, which he couldn't get. So like, you know, his name remained on it. But I mean, I've always still enjoyed this one. I mean, I can you know see some problems here and there. Like there was some humor that did feel forced, but I did find some of the humor still pretty fun. I also did like some of the throwback feel it had, like with a disco prom, kind of like a '70s feel, which is something that Ty West was trying to do. He was trying to like make it like into like an outrageous comedy that's just all out disgusting. But I also did like, you know, the gore effects for the most part were pretty good. Like the stuff at the prom was like, you know, some of the best scenes as well. One of the only things I also didn't like was that they killed off a returning character from the first movie. I shouldn't really say who it is if you haven't seen it and you're interested. That is, of course. So I won't say who it is they killed off. But I felt they could have done more with that character, though. So this is one I still overall enjoy. It's not perfect, but I mean it's way better than the Cabin Fever remake. So it's one I feel like we should show some appreciation towards, because even if you don't like it, you got to admit at least it's not as bad as the remake. Okay, so number two is the third movie, Cabin Fever, Patient Zero. So like I saw this one in the theater with my friend. It's actually the same friend I did the rant video with for the remake. Like we went to see this movie in the theater. We actually had to like drive right into the city to see it in the theater because it was only being played like, you know, very limited in the theater. And we both actually really liked this one a lot, and it's actually my friend's favorite one, not my favorite, but it's my friend's favorite though, which is actually, if you remember, he actually said that in our rant video. So like, we really did like the setting, how it was set on an island. We also did like how they described the virus being like an organism that's trying to like kill off the humans, and like and like I also did like the gore effects. Actually, the gore effects I think are actually the best in this one. Like just the scene where like, you know, the girl's arm gets ripped off. The scene where like, you know, it's like, you know, that fight scene with the two girls with, and like their skin is like, you know, just coming off as they fight. They're just ripping each other all up, and then like, yeah, then the other girl gets hit and her like face gets crushed right in. That was also pretty cool. Also, this part where this guy shoots a gun and like, you know, his arm like, you know, just goes right off and the gun goes right into his face. So yeah. Also, I did like that they got Sean Astin from the Lord of the Rings movies in this one. So he was pretty good in it. So this is one I actually have always really liked, and I think it's the best out of the Cabin Fever sequels. Not the best in my opinion, as I just said, but I really do like this one a lot. I liked how it did take itself serious at times, but also did take itself like, you know, it didn't take itself too serious at times as well. So it was an overall very fun movie. And number one, of course, is the original Cabin Fever. So it's very obvious this one is the best one. I mean, it's the movie that started it all. It's a very fun, entertaining movie. It was directed by a then unknown Eli Roth. Like this was his first movie. He went on to direct Hostel, and also we did also direct Hostel Part 2, which I wasn't a fan of. I did like the first one though. He also directed The Green Inferno, which I liked, and also other movies which I'm not gonna name. But I think this one is his best one. It was a very good directorial debut for him. Unfortunately, like his movies afterwards either went from good to okay to mediocre, as well as also he produced like, you know, some pretty good to mediocre movies as well. But I just really liked how fun this movie was. I really enjoyed the characters. I mean, despite some people actually thought the characters were just your generic horror characters, but I don't know, I did like how they didn't take the movie serious. I liked the gore effects. They did balance the horror and the comedy aspects pretty well. It was also just in general a different kind of horror movie because, as you all know, horror movies are normally like, your usual slasher horror movies or zombie movies of some sort. But this one wasn't like, a man in the mask in the woods or anything like that. It was a virus, like, just killing people. So it's almost like a horror version of the movie Outbreak. Even though I don't think that Outbreak had any inspiration to this. Eli Roth said the inspiration was actually from a skin infection that he actually once had. And also there was a scene where a girl is shaving her legs and she's shaving off her skin, and he actually said that actually happened to him as well. He was shaving and he was cutting his skin off of his face. Okay, so I guess that's actually some pretty good inspiration. And overall, like, I think this is one of the best horror movies from the 2000s. Even Peter Jackson, it says right up here on the top, like, since he was directing the Lord of the Rings movies at the times, like, he actually really enjoyed this. So this is like, just a very fun, entertaining movie. It's a movie I actually watched a couple times, and I still enjoy it. And I think that's really just about it. I hope you enjoyed this ranking video, and I'm going to work really hard to get more videos out pretty soon. So yeah, keep your eye out for more videos. Okay, bye.